Peer Seattle provides support services to the LGBTQ community, often in times of hardship. They're already hearing from people impacted by coronavirus.
What we expect to see is quite a few more people coming in who need to be connected, who had employment and just lost it because of what's going on right now.
Executive Director Joshua Wallace says Peer Seattle traces its roots to the HIV/AIDS crisis of the 80s and 90s. They're now mobilizing familiar networks of counselors, economic assistance, and housing support for a new generation.
We represent 39% of the homeless youth and adult population. We have a large number of our folks work in the service and hospitality industry, so they're losing their jobs.
Everyone's at home, no jobs. Unemployment's crazy. People are concerned about getting evicted.
Stacy Starstruck is a Seattle drag queen who earns a living performing shows throughout the region and cutting hair at Rudy's Barbershop. Both income sources evaporated almost overnight.
I don't know when I'm coming back, which means I don't know when I can fully pay rent. I don't know how long I can live in my apartment. I don't know how long I can buy groceries.
There are scores of others like her with a lot of big questions. Peer Seattle says resiliency earned during the HIV/AIDS crisis can help people get through what comes next. In Seattle, Ted Land, King 5 News.
The organizers of Seattle Pride just donated $25,000 in emergency funds to organizations providing on-the-ground support to people most impacted by coronavirus.